friends of mine, Samson and Monica, who are avid fans of A Victim Bites Back, fell in love with Seville in Spain when I mentioned it many episodes ago, and booked a holiday and had a wonderful time there. They've now been so impressed by my descriptions of Marrakesh in Morocco, they've booked to come and spend their summer holiday here, and I'm briefing them on all the right places to visit. But more than just your travel online advice guide, we also take a look at the very important area of truth. Where can we find truth and justice? And for that very reason, I am setting up something called NOTPO, N-O-T-P-O, which stands for Not Only the Post Office, and aims to have radical changes in the law, the situation in prisons, the justice system, and everything else, including total disruption of the general election. This is the Sardi Hotel, where I used to come and stay years ago, probably 60 years ago. And I remember the room service waiter at the time was about the same age as me, about 20 like I was. And we got chatting and we got very friendly. And he went on from being the Sardi room service waiter. His name was Omar, by the way, to various assorted positions, both higher in the hotel here and then over in a hotel called the Amenjena, which I also stayed in probably about 30 or 40 years ago, where he became general manager. He only retired a few years ago, but told me quite a few stories about the Amenjena, which were fascinating. I can no longer afford the rooms at the Amenjena, but I still go there regularly to eat and to mix with all my friends there. I remember when Omar was general manager at the Amenjena, the Beckhams had a birthday party and threw it there. Not only David and his wife Victoria and all their kids, but loads of people from all over the world came and joined them. It was one of those major birthdays, 40 or something, I think, years ago now. Anyway, the stories that Omar told me about the Beckhams were absolutely mind-blowing and jaw-dropping, and I'm not going to reveal one of them. We did share an enemy, Max Clifford, the public relations man who started my whole drama 24 years ago, also caused terrible problems for David Beckham. I never met David Beckham, I don't think. I met his wife several times when she was Posh Spice. But these are people who come into one's life and phase out of one's life again. Meanwhile, you just go on enjoying your food.
having fun. I see a boy, I wanna meet him. No, you can't do that because we're leaving. Kaka, 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 kaka. We're leaving, but we don't want to. We're leaving, but we don't want to. We're leaving, but we want to stay. Party all night and every day. Party, 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 party. We're leaving, but we don't want to. We're leaving, but we don't want to. We're leaving, but we want to stay. Party all night and every day. Party, 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 party. We're leaving, but we don't want to. We're leaving, but we don't want to. We're leaving, but we want to stay. Party all night and every day. Party, party,
Elizabeth, who is the proprietor of the Asadi Hotel, has been a friend for years and years. I used to know her mother, who was the famous hotelier who started the Asadi, and indeed, I believe it was the first casino in Africa, not just North Africa, but the whole of Africa. Anyway, I said to Elizabeth the other day, look, I'm now in my 80th year. I really should have the name and contact details of a good doctor, just in case I start declining during one of the many months I'm here in Morocco. And she gave me the name of the best doctor in Morocco, who I met, had lunch with, and established myself onto his books. So if ever anything goes wrong, I have a doctor. Not that anything is going wrong with my health at the moment, I hasten to add, mainly due to my swimming all year. The Oscar nominations are in. Some good ones, some not so good. I thought Oppenheimer was a good film, but at least an hour too long, which ruined it for me. I thought Barbie was miles better than I was expecting. I really wasn't looking forward to it at all and thought it was actually very well done. Loads of others like Past Lives I loved, Anatomy of a Fall I loved. Some very good films got ignored by the Oscars this year. Without any doubt, the Best Actress award needs to go to Carey Mulligan for her performance in the incredible film about Leonard Bernstein, in my opinion.
In some deserted bed of leaves, there lies a swan about to die. And in her dreams, she can see herself alive and shining brilliant in the sky. She glides and turns on the icy lake, while the silver moon whitens all the melting snow. She dreams about the cool wind that blew and the smell of pine trees that drifted down to the sapphire lake below. Briefly her wings begin to beat and stir the broken twigs around, and silently as the sunlight starts to beam, it lights the hollow in the ground. The swan remembers the golden days when she flew so high and she swam so gracefully, but now her body is soft and weak, and her feathers limp, and her head so heavy, and eyes no longer the sea. And now the valley is bright again, and the sun is warming the fields of growing corn. And somewhere else in a bed of leaves, there's a silver egg that has crumbled open. Another swan is born.
How do you start a conversation with a stranger who's just seen you cracking open your boyfriend's head with a hammer? Well, I didn't do it. Not the way it was reported. I'm sure you already know not to believe everything you read in the media.
The Murder of Joe Orton. Watch the movie and enjoy it. It became fairly obvious to me in the late 90s that I was getting out of touch with the current music scene. I had a couple of hits, Who Let the Dogs Out and I Get Knocked Down But I Get Up Again, but they weren't directly me, and it was also getting very, very hard to get such tracks listened to. So that's when I decided to start making films and writing books, both of which started very successful. My first autobiography, 65, My Life So Far, did quite nicely. We printed about 500 copies. They all sold out at 20 quid a copy within a week and funded all future publications and makings of films. But of course, one of the reasons I'd come to this decision was I knew after what happened to me in 2001, I was never going to be accepted by the media again, so I might as well create my own media so I could make my own views felt and express my own thoughts on matters like false allegations. It's always a good time when one's away in the sunshine to catch up on some of the great old movies and indeed old books of the past year or so. So I do an enormous amount of reading, but also an enormous amount of watching films. Amazon Prime Video is fantastic for that. You can rent all the great old films for sort of $2.99 or $3.99, and it's terrific to catch up on quite a few movies. I've been watching the Alfred Hitchcock films, which has been quite interesting. The last one I saw was Frenzy, which is one of his last films. Superb acting by Barry Foster, I think his name is, as the villain. Some very good moments, some very funny subplots. But I've got to say, and this is now the third Hitchcock I've watched. I watched Rope again, and I watched Strangers on a Train. I think Alfred Hitchcock's movies have not dated well. Times have changed, plots are now less plausible, and looking at them as historical context, they're fascinating, but as actual works of current filmmaking, they're not as good as perhaps they once were. On the other hand, I also watched the fantastic Vera Drake. Mike Leigh is one of my favourite British directors. In fact, he's one of my favourite directors in the world. And Vera Drake is one of my favourite films of all time. Imelda Staunton is absolutely staggering in it, and so is Daniel Mays in a very early role, and Phil Davis, who's fantastic. It's a brilliant movie if you've never seen it.
You were a Facebook friend until we came to meet. You fell in love with me and swept me off my feet. Je t'aime beaucoup, beaucoup. Je t'aime beaucoup. Je t'aime beaucoup, beaucoup. Je t'aime beaucoup. Tu es comme un violon. Je suis Lady Gaga. Tu es ma grande passion, mon ami, mon frère, mon papa. Je t'aime beaucoup, beaucoup. Je t'aime beaucoup, beaucoup. Avec tes yeux magnifiques, avec les cœurs d'or, you bring my entire world alive. You're all I'm living for. Je t'aime beaucoup, beaucoup. Je t'aime beaucoup. Je t'aime beaucoup, beaucoup. Je t'aime beaucoup. La langue de l'amour, c'est universalité. C'est pas nécessaire parler ou mauvaise quand je vais chanter. Je t'aime beaucoup, beaucoup. Je t'aime beaucoup, beaucoup. Je t'aime beaucoup, beaucoup. Je t'aime 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 beaucoup. Beaucoup, beaucoup, beaucoup. Beaucoup, beaucoup. Beaucoup, beaucoup, beaucoup. Beaucoup, beaucoup.
Yes, I'm afraid a vast amount of my efforts since I was wrongly convicted in 2001 have actually fallen by the wayside. But they're still there to be enjoyed if you'd like to see films such as Guilty, Vile Pervert the Musical, The Great Reset. Any of them are all available for free to watch online, on YouTube and on all the various other sites, and have millions of views, although ignored by the mainstream media. I shall keep on doing it and keep on trying to do it. And let's hope 2024 is the year when I have some sort of impact, and let's hate it assist others like Mr. Bates did against the post office, to have an impact on the situation of justice in the world. Anyway, I can but hope. See you next time.